Welcome, 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 everyone, to the Women's Empower Network. We have another amazing woman here with us this afternoon, and it's Angela, right?
Yes,
And I can't wait for us to learn a little bit about you. So, if you wouldn't mind to start us off, if you would introduce yourself and then tell us a little bit about your story and journey that led you to what you're passionate about today.
sure. Well, thank you for that nice welcome and thank you for having me. So I personally struggled with multiple traumas throughout life, as many of us do. And I found myself at 39 years of age broken.
Wait,
Totally.
you're not 39 yet, are you?
I am actually 45 now. So it's been a recovery process for sure. And in that state, I was physically broken, mentally broken, emotionally broken. I was at that point of kind of feeling suicidal and like there's no answers, there's no way to turn. I had, no support that actually felt supportive. And so I ended up stumbling in, well, I've always done yoga here and there, but I stumbled upon yoga therapy. And yoga therapy has a deeper approach for me in a more gentle way. And so that's what I just kept taking one little baby step at a time in a direction that felt good. And that's kind of the key, is to make sure we're not pushing ourselves, so that I was able to recover and my nervous system could then calm again and I could remap my brain and my biology um, to a place of feeling like I can thrive. So in that, I shared my process and I share it with my community. And so I'm currently offering different classes, pain care. I do one-on-ones. We're doing a retreat, which has both kind of, I've got another yoga teacher there who's a power yoga teacher. And then there's me who is a yoga therapist. So it opens up to anyone can come to these yoga retreats and not feel uncomfortable or like they have to push themselves in these classes to the point of injury or to the point of saying, oh, I don't like yoga or I can't do yoga. So it makes it very accessible. It's also very affordable because I'm in central BC and it's fairly cheap in my small town of 100 Mile House. And so we want to bring it to people without it causing any stress at this point. So that's one of the things I'm doing. I'm doing a talk on fascia, the power of fascia, the intelligence of fascia in my community. We're doing a fundraiser for a local theater here. And yeah, and then I've got my online programs. I've got a yoga therapy to heal program for people in chronic pain or with chronic disease or illness. And it's a 3 to 6 month self-guided program where you can just take it at your own pace, because that was another thing that was difficult when I was in my depths of despair, was to try to find the energy, or you don't know what each day is going to be like. So, and I looked out there for something like that and I couldn't find it anywhere. So that's why I created that program. So that's a wonderful way to work your way, taking those baby steps out of imbalance and back into that place where you feel centered and can thrive. So that's my
Wow.
story. Yeah.
So, we all hear the word yoga and then we hear hot yoga, and you're talking about yoga therapy and power
Mhm.
yoga. So, what is the difference between what I, as a layman, would say, just doing poses in a class with a lot of people compared
Mhm.
to yoga therapy? Could you kind of dissect that for us?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a great difference. So yoga, regular yoga, any teacher that's taken a 200-hour yoga teacher training can put on a class. And so you're given kind of the base asanas, which are yoga poses, and you are taught to help people with breath flow through these poses. However, with a 200-hour base training, it's really difficult to get much more knowledge than just that process, right? So I've taken it many, many hours further. So for the yoga therapy training, it's a diploma. And so we really dive deep into not only the history of yoga and understanding what yoga truly is, because it's not just the yoga pose. That's
Right.
one piece of the whole, and there's 8 pieces that you acknowledge through the practice. And so taking that ancient practice and then it marries it with modern science. So whatever's happening in the world in the way of studies and the human, physiology and biology and fascia and all those different cool things that research is stumbling upon. Fascia is one of the systems that is just recently being discovered, and they're discovering new things every day with the fascia system and how intelligent it is. So yeah, it's kind of a marrying those two together. And so if I was to put on a class, um, we would have chairs in the class. There would be an option to be in the chair. And a lot of the principles that I use are if you have pain in your body currently, you work at 30% effort or less. And then if you don't have pain, you could start at 70% effort or less. So it's a very different approach in regulating the nervous system and keeping it super calm, because we know that us humans all have that drive to do more, do more, do more. So we can be our worst enemies in some yoga classes. And I know I've injured myself in some. Yeah, it's a very opposite approach, I would say, in that way. Yeah.
It's kind of funny. What's coming to mind is as I get older, when I was younger, and I used to love, love, love go to the gym, and I loved being strong and lifting weights, and you were supposed to push it to the point where you're in pain, and then you're sore the
Mhm.
next couple days. And as I get
Yeah.
older, I'm like, yeah, I'm not so much into that anymore.
Yeah, that's
It's
so funny you pointed that out because just in my class this morning, I have one fella. He calls himself Dennis the Menace, uh, and he's in his 60s, and he's in a lot of pain. And every once in a while, I'll say, "Ease off, do less," and then he'll shout out, "No pain, no gain."
right.
I'm like, oh, that's a pattern it's stuck in that brain of yours. It's a really hard one to change, right? So you do something for 60 years and you push forward, but then eventually it gets to a point where it may not be serving you so well. So you have to relook at things, right? So yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I much rather do it slower and a little more with the flow, and I'll get there and I'll enjoy it on the way.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's key because that's a point of your body and your mind recreating that relationship where you befriend your body again, and your body can then trust you because you're not pushing it, right? And if it's the opposite and we push it and then it gets hurt, then we stop trusting or the body stops trusting the mind, and then you're always in pain. That's where the chronic stuff starts to come up because it's out of whack. There's no connection there. So yeah, it's very important to listen to your body for sure.
And I think too, if you push it beyond what's beneficial in that moment, then it creates a pattern of, oh, I don't want to do this because I know it's going to hurt. And
Yeah.
so then you end up building this extra layer of resistance for something that ultimately may actually really help you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. If it's like going to a massage therapist that makes you feel really good, you're going to go back compared to going to one that hurts you. You're not going to go back, right?
Yeah, I have a story with an experience like that, and I'm like, oh my God, this is not fun.
Yes. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so so it sounds like you have ongoing classes that are local to where you are,
Mhm.
but you also said you have an online program now.
Yes. Yes. So the online program, it's a 3 to 6 month program, and it is called the Yoga Therapy to Heal Freedom Formula program. And like I say, it's self-paced and self-guided. I do have a Facebook group, and then of course I have weekly coaching calls with my clients if needed, if they need to connect one-on-one. But it's kind of a container that someone who has no idea what to do in chronic pain or chronic illness, they can do it from the safety of their own home or comfort of their own home and feel like they can take it at their own pace. And so, yeah, so it's a really successful program. I've had quite a few people come on the other side and say, wow, it's like you just don't know this stuff. It's not something people are taught. And
Right.
then to learn how to balance your own body, you get that empowerment back of being able to, do the things you like to do or not have to rely on your doctor or your, whatever else you might be, chiropractor, whoever you might be going to. They're a support, most definitely. But you can kind of take things back into your own hands and listen to your own self and body and make moves from there. So yeah, so it's a great program. Yeah.
And that's a really important point, because all of us have been conditioned to trust the person in the white coat,
Yeah.
and they know what's best. And I think more and more people are waking up to awareness of self-healing, but to have a coach or a mentor or a teacher, like
Mhm.
yourself, that can guide us because we don't even know what we don't know. We just know that
Exactly.
we're tired of taking that pill or we're tired of going to physical therapy that I have to take two pain meds after or before,
Right.
um, that
Yeah.
there's a more
Yeah.
gentle way to do it.
Yes. And that actually, again, in my process of my own body and then also seeing the results in my clients, it is the only way to do it because that gentle way is what again recreates that connection between the body and the mind and the body trusting the mind. Because when the body doesn't trust the mind and where it's taking us, then the fascia restricts and it all hardens and then the flow doesn't happen anymore. The fluidity through your tissue for your nerves, for your lymphatic system, for all of the functions of the body stop flowing as well. And so then that's where we end up with chronic issues. So it's all so connected, but gentle is such a key word because it is such an important part of the process.
That's beautiful. And so you also do you do some type of free consultation to talk with people to see if you're a good fit and to learn about what their challenge is?
Yeah, I do a breakthrough paying call. It's a free consultation. It's a 30-minute phone call where we just chat on the phone and kind of get to the bottom of what's exactly happening for each person and what might be their concerns and we just kind of work through that and see if the program is a good fit or not for that person. So yeah, I do offer that for sure. Mm-hmm.
Well, just to let the audience know, we'll be sure to put Angela's contact information above this interview and down in the comments, so that you can connect with her if any of things that she's talking about or her energy, who she is resonating with you. And before we go today, is there any parting words of wisdom that you would like to share with us besides not pushing yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, One of the main things that I notice people don't have knowledge of is the ability to choose your own thought, to choose your own outcome. Um, we have, they say, 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of them are negative. And that's our
So, wow.
ego moving. And it's like we can think of the ego, a part of the mind, as the heart is a part of the body. It's just there as a function in the body. It's there to try to keep us safe. However, most of us let it take over and it guides us, right? So my parting word of wisdom is to notice those thoughts and are they positive or negative? And then start making a choice to make them positive instead. Affirmations or the direction you want to go, visualization, and that's a very empowering thing to as well for people, I think. So yeah, yeah,
It's beautiful. And I think sometimes the hardest part is just starting.
yes, yeah. I say that to many of my clients when they show up in my classes. You've done the hardest part. You got to your mat. Now that's over. The rest is just breezy. It's just easeful and enjoyable, and you always feel so good after. So Definitely. It's the first step is the hardest. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking one final note that comes to mind is whenever I used to resist going to the gym or swim or whatever it was I was going to do because it seemed like too much of a hassle. I'm like the negative conversation to try to prevent me to do something that really feels good. Is I started learning how to go to the end results. A
Mm.
100% of the time, I always
Hmm.
felt good for going. And so
Uh-huh.
I would go there first, like, ooh,
Uh,
think about the benefits, think about how great I'm going to feel when I'm done. And
exactly.
I would let that motivate me instead of that negative talk that's preventing me for making it tough to stick to what I said I wanted to do.
Yes, exactly. It's trying to pull you to the couch when you're trying to get out the door. And you're like, which way am I going? Yeah.
Right. Pick the results, pick the benefits.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. That's good. I'll share that one if you don't mind. I'll
No,
steal it.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
all the tricks we can use, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Well, it's been such a pleasure to meet you, Angela. And like I said, we'll put all your contact information so people can reach out to you. And
Thank
just
you.
thank you again for being part of our group.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you so much for this opportunity and for reaching out and yeah, it was very nice to meet you and talk with you today. Thank you.